we have established who will be playing in Arlington. It is 10-2 Texas Tech. It is 11-1 Kansas State. Here's the interesting thing about this matchup. It's not Oklahoma and Texas. That's the first thing. So you see that and you go, what? How? Everybody across the country. Again, Texas has the number one roster in the Big 12. It's the best roster since 2019 Oklahoma, but this team has been known to underperform. That's just kind of what Texas does. They had Quinn Ewers last year had the number 100 completion percentage in the country. Sorry. The Texas defense allowed the number 100 completion percentage in the country. Misread my notes. The offense, the passing offense for UT, 56th in America. That's not good. That's not good. QB rating, 46th. And Quinn Ewers is supposed to be this blue chip prospect. I don't think so. It's not Texas. It's not Oklahoma. The Sooners were in the bottom 15 defensively under Brent Venables last year. Number 122 in total defense, 106 in rush defense, 118 in pass defense. That is horrendous. In steps Kansas State and Texas Tech. I love what Will Howard brings to the table. Chris Kleiman won a national championship at the FCS level, and he brings that kind of prowess. He also embraces JUCOs. He embraces the transfer portal. And if you look at Kansas State and the way they've recruited the last couple of years, they were 63rd, had the 63rd best recruiting class in 2022. So I get the athletes aren't going to be there like a Texas and OU, but the 32nd recruiting class in 2023. This team is good. They already won a Big 12 championship last year. They bring back Will Howard, who won them that Big 12 championship. They're going to be, and I get it, right? Kobe Savage is like your only guy back in the secondary, but he is great. He's an all Big 12 type player on the defensive side of the ball. I love, and I get it, Kansas State fans, a lot like Texas Tech fans, are like, oh, don't pick us. Come on. We don't want to get too hyped. I love what Kansas State brings in. They beat Missouri on the road. They beat UCF. We did the schedule rundown here. Their only loss is on the road against Texas Tech. They've got a fairly favorable schedule. Their toughest game maybe is at Texas. And similar to the way that TCU won at Texas late last year, that's what Kansas State's going to do this year. As for Texas Tech, a lot of people are talking about how, again, Texas, Oklahoma, maybe Kansas State. Could TCU come back and do it again? Well, the reason TCU doesn't go back to Arlington is because of Joey McGuire and Texas Tech. They're going to beat that TCU team. They're going to beat Oregon. That propels them into this season. They have a win at BYU. They win against Kansas on the road. They beat UCF. And while they lose to Texas at home, they still have tiebreakers to put themselves in Arlington. Last season, there were some signature wins. There were some really terrible losses, 5 interceptions against Baylor. I think the way everything set up for Joey McGuire and company last season was like the learning experience year. Losing to NC State, the mistakes that lost you the Baylor game. You lost to a bad Oklahoma State team, obviously forgivable losses to TCU and Kansas State, but at the same time, you built the blueprint, right? You had the win against Ole Miss. You beat Oklahoma and you beat Texas in the same year that I can remember. Not all 8-5 records are created equal. And this is the stepping stone. Year 2 is stepping stone for Joey McGuire that I think he's ready to take on. He reminds me of G.J. Kinney in this way. G.J. Kinney, if you don't know, head coach at Texas State. His first year as a head coach at Incarnate Word, he went 12-2. It was his first year as a head coach ever in college football, went 12-2. And I think it's what Joey McGuire is. He's just a win now guy. He just wins. He just can't lose. Zach Kittley, he is the best offensive coordinator in the Big 12. He's got an air raid that is, it's going to be reminiscent of a Hal Mumme, a Mike Leach, a Cliff Kingsbury. Those pass concepts are not unfamiliar, obviously, to Lubbock. And you have three quarterbacks that could all come in and play legitimate time here. Tyler Shuck, obviously, being the best. Just this. I am excited to see Taj Brooks play. I'm excited to see the oomph that Texas Tech brings. 7 returning starters, despite losing Tyree Wilson, 7 returning starters coming back next year on the defense. So this Tech team's scary. This Kansas State team's scary. And more than anything, blue collar. That's what I like my Big 12 blue collar. So I've got Kansas State and Texas Tech competing in Arlington. K-State at 11-1. Texas Tech at 10-2. and Kansas State gets the win. Look, it's tough to beat a good team twice. And I told you the surgence of Joey McGuire is there. Getting to Arlington's the first thing. They've already beaten Kansas State in the regular season. Then when you get to the big game, Kansas State has been there. Texas Tech has not. And I don't know if that's a complete, this is going to sway the game because the lights are too bright for Texas Tech. I don't think so. But I know that Chris Kleiman's won a lot of championships. And I know that Will Howard is, to me, the best quarterback in the Big 12. I think he finishes as the best quarterback in the Big 12. Shuck not far behind, but in a QB duel, in a 45-42 shootout, Kansas State gets revenge. Tech already got their regular season win against this team. In the postseason, it is not to be. The Kansas State Wildcats finish 11-1 in the regular season, win the Big 12 championship, and at 12-1. Texas Tech fans, don't be too upset that you lost to Kansas State, because at 12-1, you helped them book a ticket to the college football playoff. The Kansas State Wildcats are going to the playoff. Yep, the Big 12 is going to the playoff via Kansas State Chris Kleiman, the guy that they wanted to fire a couple years ago. I don't know if he can get it done. Winning at the FCS is different. And now he's got K-State in the playoff. They become the dominant force along with Texas Tech going into the new Big 12. And that's it. That's your complete Big 12 preview right there. That's it. That's all the research I've done for weeks and months and all of the time. I hope you liked it. This has been, and it always will be. Thanks for showing up today. Show up again tomorrow. We're going to break down some of the games tonight. UCF. Hello. This has been Utah, new Big 12 team. Go Utes. They're going to beat Florida. Utah's going to beat Florida for sure. I'll put some money on FanDuel on it. Locked on. Thanks for making it your first listen every single day. Doce Grande.